Hello everyone, thanks for being with us tonight. In our first story, West Blue Consulting Limited, managers of the National Single Window Project at the Tema Port, is assuring various players at the port that the implementation of policies and requirements stipulated within the Trade Facilitation Agreement would not lead to job cuts. The agreement came into force last Wednesday, and various activities are expected at the entry points to meet certain requirements. However, Chief Executive Officer of West Blue, Valentina Menta, assures measures are underway to avoid job cuts. There's more in the following report.
West Blue Consulting is the mandatory agency working in collaboration with the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority and Ministry of Trade to harmonize activities of importers and exporters at the various ports in the country. In an interview after a visit, the Parliamentary Select Committee on Trade paid a courtesy call on the company. Chief Executive of West Blue, Valentina Minta, assures that though there will be some changes in ways of handling transactions at the port, the agencies have put in place measures to curb job losses as a result of the implementation of the trade agreement.
Ghana has already ratified the TFA and provided to the international community what articles fall into these categories. So yes, there is going to be a change of the way of doing things because now there's a prescribed list of how things could be done. But of course, in adhering to that, we need to know our local environment. We need to know our local challenges. Something that might work in a European country would not necessarily work in Aflao. That doesn't mean that we should work at a substandard level. We should know what the standard is, but adapt our own culture, our own practices, our own environment to suit that standard. So that is the work that will be ongoing to ensure that we execute as per the TFA mandate. So yes, certainly there will be improvements and there should be improvements that are visible to all. Not at all. There would be reskilling and redeployment, but I wouldn't say there would be job losses. So whereas somebody was using a paper and pen to execute their work, now they would be using a keyboard and a screen to be able to do their work. So it means upskilling, it means redeployment, and it means efficiency of systems.
On his part, Chairman of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Trade, Nikwate Titus Glover, noted that government is in full support of the agreement and will do all it takes to ensure smooth implementation.
One thing that has made them successful is their continuous engagement of all stakeholders to make sure that, look, we are here to work for this country. We are here to make sure that the government gets the needed revenue for development of our country. And for them to engage all stakeholders and to continue to engage them, I think that is very key in the success of the work that they are doing. So should there be any problem that they have, the committee, our work is to make sure that institutions that falls within the Ministry of Trade and Industry, and for that matter, where we have an oversight on that ministry, it is our duty to make sure that we harness some of these challenges and difficulties that are coming up. So by and large, I can say that our meeting has been very successful. They are doing so well, and we need to give them the pat on their shoulder to continue to do the best for this country.
The new trade agreement adopted by the World Trade Organization requires all member countries to ensure maximum reduction of trade barriers along its ports and the provision of services that will smoothen trade transactions among member countries.
Now to some news that you'd really be interested in. The current challenge with regular power supply across the country is set to normalize this week. It follows resumption of gas supply by Tullow Oil to gas infrastructure project at Atwabo in the western region over the weekend. George Rafe has more.
For those who are close to developments on the Jubilee and 10 field, as well as those in the power sector, the challenge has come about because Tullow actually asked for 10 more days to complete works, or what some are calling the tie-in process, connecting tubes from the 10 oil field through to the Jubilee field to the Atwabo gas processing plant for onward supply to the Emery plant in Takoradi. This meant that all the emergency plans that they had in place were supposed to have ended around February 21. So because of this challenge, it made it difficult to supply power to the country. And that is why we are experiencing what some might call right now the doomsday. For some analysts, looking at the current challenges going on, even though the situation is expected to normalize this week, government might have to look for an alternate plan in place which can be described as more sustainable, so we can avoid what some may call a total doomsday or total power crisis in the country. From a substation here in Accra, this is George Yafe reporting for Troy Business.
Meanwhile, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PRC, says it would demand a timetable from the utility companies over the current outages. Nanaya Jantua is Director of Public Affairs as well as External Affairs at the PRC.
They have to communicate to the public effectively what is going on. And we know always we've been struggling with communication with the utilities. Yes, of course, we've all been experiencing some power outages, and it is more on the distribution side and things like that. So we have written to them to give us a full overview of what is going on. And when we get the information, then we take it up from there.
I'm going to insist that they do that because people are still complaining.
Yes, everybody is complaining. It is very necessary that it is done. It is very imperative that it is done because consumers, or I always say that consumers have a contractual agreement with the utility, and the contractual agreement was that you give me power. And once you don't give me that power, then there's a breach of that contract. So if there is a challenge, then certainly you have to let me know as a consumer that maybe you have a challenge. So that is what we've written to them. We will follow it up with a meeting to get a brief of exactly what is going on. Then we'll move it from there.
And moving on, the Indian government, through the Trade Promotion Council of India, is sending 50 companies to Ghana as part of efforts to boost trade and strengthen bilateral ties between the two countries. The initiative is being launched in Accra. That's where my colleague Charles Aite is. He joins us live with an update. 50 companies. Charles, why the push?
Account of the executive.
Well, the press conference just ended, Daryl, and it's been an assurance from the government of India right here at the Melbourne Big Ambassador Hotel of their resolve to boost trade and investment here in Ghana, especially under the newly established administration under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I have here with me the Joint Director General in charge of the TPCI in the person of Kapil Gupta, and as well the Marketing Director, the Head of Marketing actually at the Ghana Chamber of Commerce, and the person of Edu Amwako to help us understand the very, remit and the complications involved in this very investment. So welcome, gentlemen, to Business Live. So I would want to start off with you, Kapil. Why the choice of Ghana? We hear the fact that 50 businesses are going to be coming all the way from India to Ghana with, interest ties to boost trade between both countries. Why Ghana?
2-3 reasons. Number one is we have Ghana as a stabilized government in place now. Number two, the statements and the words which are coming from the Ghana government seems that they are very open for the trade. I also told 10 minutes back that trade is a backbone of success of any country. If the trade is happening, commerce is happening, means employment generation, development, infrastructure, everything happens simultaneously.
All right, I'm going to be asking you the question on the key sectors in which the government of India is going to be concentrating on. But let me rope in Edu Amwako. You are the head of marketing at the Ghana Chamber of Commerce. This is good news for local industries here in Ghana. But what happens to be the key advice the Chamber has for local industries, especially when such a very mouth-watering offer is on their table?
Yeah, we believe that we are ready to partner with our business operators from India to do business to expand our production capacities before we export our product. We don't want to continue exporting our raw materials to India and other parts of the world, but we believe that we can add value. So we take this program that is coming up tomorrow, and we want to take full advantage of it to be able to network and be able to establish and increase our production capacity to export to India.
But one major, factor that comes to mind in the wake of this very merger between Ghana and India happens to do with the state of Ghana's economy and the challenges that most private sector businesses are facing. What admonishment has the chamber to government in the wake of this merger?
Yeah, the chamber has been in talk with government to try and resolve most of the challenges that are affecting businesses in Ghana. Key among them is the energy issue, and government has promised to resolve it immediately. So we are talking to the government, and we hope very soon the energy issues will be a thing of the past. Again, high cost of borrowing and interest is something that is on the table. We are discussing with government, and government has also promised also to reduce taxes, which is a big issue affecting production in Ghana. So we believe with all these measures in place, the operators in Ghana can do business with their counterpart from India.
All right, so I'd want to end up with you, Kapil. What happens with the key sectors that the Indian government is going to be concentrating on?
Okay, India is very good. India government is very good. Generation, transmission, that is developing. IT. We are not less than anywhere in the world in IT sector. We are very, very good into the medical, which is a key, as I told, that maximum number of doctors are from India in the world. These are the three important. Then construction and infrastructure, because Ghana is now emerging economy and you require a lot of infrastructure, and we do have a lot of construction and infrastructure company which are in place and already doing some of the work with Ghana earlier also.
All right, so Kapil and Namalko, thank you very much for your time. So you did hear it there, Daryl. Diverse views in the wake of this very investment establishment here between Ghana and India, which is going to be happening at the Accra International Conference Center tomorrow. We're going to be expecting close to 50 Indian businesses, for that matter. This happens to be the largest so far, they say, and the Indian government, as we well know, happens to be the very second largest foreign investment, in foreign investment to the Ghanaian economy. So we're hoping to see what pans out from this very investment package tomorrow. We shall be bringing you excerpts from that, but this happens to with the very latest we could gather from the Accra, the Movenpick Hotel right here in Accra.
Great reporting, Charles Aite, there for us. We want to turn to some other news tonight. A financial law to regulate and enhance activities of credit unions in the country has been passed. The legislative instrument, which replaces and updates the previous decree establishing credit unions since 1966, is also expected to harmonize the sector. The General Manager of the Credit Union Associations, Ghana, Nana Kwesi Jaman, told Joy Business at the sidelines of the Tema Chapter Teachers Network Cooperative Credit Union that with the coming into force of the new law, credit unions are now repositioning to become vibrant alternative financial institutions of choice for members.
The new LI 2225 now moves registration of credit unions to the Bank of Ghana and requires a license before commencement of a credit union. The General Manager of the Credit Union Association, Nana Kwesi Japan, in an interview with Joy Business, talks about some challenges that would be overcome with the new law. He said the Credit Union Association will reposition to reflect modern demand.
Some challenges in the past because credit union were seen as social enterprises or social businesses in the past. But the credit unions are now repositioning ourselves in the financial industry where credit unions are for economic as well as social, has economic as well as social values that we want to portray for people to know. Because in the past, people look at credit unions as a club. But now we are actually coming out for people to know that credit unions are alternative financial institutions of choice for members. So we are now positioning ourselves. So within the next 3 years, the Ghana Cooperative Credit Union Association actually has come up with a program repositioning credit unions to be vibrant as well as providing services just like any other financial institution in the country.
The Tema Chapter Teachers Network Corporation Credit Union at its 6th annual general meeting posted an impressive financial performance and hoped to increase active membership from 6,000 in June 2015 to 11,000 by 2020. With an interest of 8% on the savings, the TCT-NCCU approved a total amount of over 5 million Ghana cedis, with 62% of the amount going to various businesses and 17% going for housing development. The board chairman of the Tema Credit Union is Gilbert Asiedu Yemete.
The default rate, like other credit unions, is still there, but except that we have put in some strategies which is working well with us. Before you take your loan, we look at your qualification for the loan. Your savings more or less serve as well collateral. So if you default at a point in time, I don't think we have any problem of using the loan or the savings that you have accumulated to set off. Because when we appeal to you to come and pay according to our rules and you are not going by that, then definitely we have the opportunity to use your loan, your savings, available savings to recoup.
Some members of the union share their thoughts.
The interest and everything is far better. When you go to the banking sector, the assessment, before they give you loan, a lot of assessment, like the collateral and everything. But here it's flexible.
Comparing it to other organizations, I think it's okay. Yes. So if you take a loan, per the number of years you want to pay, I think you can pay it.
We are taking you to Spain now, where research by mobile digital services provider Upstream indicates there is $70 billion for telcos and other industry players in emerging markets like Ghana to make from mobile digital services if they get their acts right. Stavros Kosmetatos is Corporate Communications and Marketing Director at Upstream. He has been speaking with Joy Business's Samuel Dowona at the ongoing Mobile World Congress in Spain.
I'm here with Stavros Kosmetatos, who is the Marketing and Communications Director for Upstream, and he's going to tell us exactly what is available for people to benefit from. Stavros, you're welcome.
Hello, Sam. Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah. So what can you share with us? You have done a lot of research about digital services, and what benefits is there for telecom companies to make, and of course, what benefit is there for consumers to also make. Can you share with us what findings you came up with from your research, Stavros?
Of course, more than happy to, Sam. So basically, there's a huge opportunity in high growth markets and emerging markets around the world, whether it's Latin America, Africa, Southeast Asia, but Africa is a strong market for this potential. We've actually calculated this opportunity to amount to a staggering $70 billion digital opportunity, which is for digital services. It's important to be able, though, in order to actually tap into this opportunity, you need to be able to address the pain points and the challenges that consumers encounter in these markets. So it's really important to be able to ensure that digital services offered are relevant, whether that's in terms of the content, whether it's localized enough, whether it's affordable and the pricing is right, whether it's made accessible enough so everyone can have access to it, regardless of whether they have a simple feature phone or a smartphone, and regardless of their internet connection.
And we'll still stay in Spain a while because Finnish company HMD Global OY has unveiled a range of new phones, including a redesign of the classic Nokia 3310. Remember the 3310? Well, that's in a bid to win back mobile consumers. Many consider the original handset iconic because of its popularity and sturdiness. More than 126 million were produced before it was phased out in 2005. The revamped version will be sold under licenses by the Finnish startup HMD Global, which also unveiled several Nokia-branded Android smartphones. HMD also showcased the re-release of the Nokia 3310, a lower-cost feature phone first sold just under 17 years ago. The release is the first major push by HMD to revive Nokia's days of glories as a global mobile producer. You're still watching Business Live. We'll be analyzing the stocks after this break. Welcome back to Business Live. I want to take a look at how the stocks are faring. Joining me in the studio is Bertha Atubiga of Gold Coast Fund Management. I want to start, Bertha, with how the stocks fared last week and today.
Okay, thank you very much for having me. Last week, the market did quite well in terms of the equities that gained as compared to the losers. We had 7 equities gaining and only 3 equities losing on their week open prices. But we saw the total volumes of shares trading on the exchange go down by 50.04%, and the value also declined by 35.88%. Despite this, we still saw the major indices, that's the composite index and the financial stock index, appreciate marginally on their week open levels, because we had more gainers as compared to the losers on the exchange. And bringing us to today's market, we had 13 equities trading on the exchange. The top 3 most traded equities, we had CAL trading the most, 57,000 shares, and then we had ETI 33,500 and EGL 13,100 shares. So these were the top 3 most traded equities. The other equities traded less than 10,000 shares, and we had just a sole gainer, or a sole mover. Sorry, it was a loser. EcoBank traded only 400 shares, and we saw the equity drop by 7 pesos to close at 7 cedis 13 pesos per share. Previously, EcoBank was trading at 7 cedis 20 pesos per share. So it was the only mover. But other equities that traded, Access Bank, which was listed latter part of last year, traded 700 shares today at 2,870 Ghana cedis in one transaction or one single trade on the market. And that's quite impressive, because from the beginning of the year till now, we haven't seen much activity go on with Access Bank and ADB. I'm yet to see if ADB will be trading soon on the exchange. And we had EGO, FML also traded 4,100 shares. We had GCB, GROW, GWEB, HFC, SIC, and Total also trading some shares on the exchange.
I wish I could ask you about the short-term projections, but you know, we have little time. Okay. We want to talk about the city, because the performance really hasn't been anything to write home about. What's happening?
It's actually alarming that in the first month of the year, we see the city actually depreciate by that margin. You look at 2016 and 2017, the difference is just too much. 2016, we had a year-to-date depreciation, that's for the whole year, around 3% or a little above 3%. And as of Friday, the Gold Coast City Index, it looks at the holistic year-to-date performance of the city against major trading partners on the interbank market. It closed at 5.96%. That's the rate at which the city has depreciated against major trading partners. And the city is recording an average quote of 4 Ghana cedis, 4,399 pesos to the dollar on the interbank market. The pound, 5 Ghana cedis, 55 pesos, and the euro, 4 Ghana cedis, 69 pesos. It's actually, I'll actually like to say that Bank of Ghana, the managers of the economy, should come up with strategies.
Sure,
because right now we are in a state of confusion. Looking at
we'll
the
talk
rates,
about that. We'll talk about. We just hope that things work out well. Thanks very much,
thank you very much.
Atubiga from Gold Coast Fund Management, speaking there to us on the performance of the city. Gosh. Well, moving on to our interview of the day, Managing Director of John Moore International, a specialist logistics company, has impressed on automobile companies in the country to deliver quality after-sales services to their clients, as it helps to reduce the initial costs of the products over time.
I think it's a great idea for these brands to be on the market. Predominantly over the last maybe 15, 20 years, you've got 2 or 3 brands on the market. Ford is a big name. We all know Ford has been around for a long time. But to have the presence of Ford here in Ghana makes a big difference for us, because we have the opportunity to look at different options. When it comes to the technical aspects of it, it matches any other truck in the world. You look at the technical configuration, the engine, the back axles, and the kind of strength that you get out of it will match any other brand in the world. So for us, it's a brand that we're looking forward to be part of. And we've been talking to Rana Motors on this and really excited that this is coming to fruition at this time.
So how is it going to help?
Well, we think the first thing is you're going to get quality for the right price, because you're going to have a quality that is matching any other global quality and is actually well priced. So your initial cost in any operation will obviously come down, and then you can divert some of your funds or some of the revenue you have used in acquiring assets into other parts of your business. So for us, or those of us utilizing equipment or the Ford vehicles or Ford trucks, it tends to give us a better leverage in taking decisions in our industry.
And the showroom and after-sales service?
Well, after-sales service, our company has been working with Rana Motors for the past 11 years, and we consider the after-sales service as very good, because they're always there, and they have a wide range of parts that go with the service. So it's not generally just selling off the equipment or selling off the truck to you. I mean, you get all the ancillaries that go with it. Rana Motors sells tires, they sell other things that go with it. So Rana Motors is one of the companies that has a very strong backup and very strong after-sales service, and that's key.
And that's our show tonight. Thanks for watching. Of course, there's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business.